Good morning, United Kingdom. Good morning, everyone. Back in the madness, obviously, with a severe lockdown, tier 3. Obviously, we've been told there's a new strain of the virus, which is even more worrying. People are being told to stay indoors and be very mindful of the guidelines. Right. Good morning, Lakhi Singh, the property fixer. Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, the alternative business and property solutions community fixer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Obviously, he's not on. He can't hear us. So, good morning. Yes.
Good morning.
What's the weather like there in the United Kingdom, in the southeast,
Testing 1,
in London,
2, 3, 4.
in the delay? There's a delay in timing. Is a delay in your timings?
I can hear you absolutely fine.
Let's get Mandy Sandhu on.
I'll try dialing back in again.
Yeah, dial in again, please.
Is that any better? Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. I think you're on mute at the moment.
Mute?
Still on mute.
Yes. Right. Good morning to Lakhi Singh, the property fixer, the mover, the shuver, the hoover, the rover, the groover, the moonwalker of the square mile in Lakhi in the city of London. Good morning to everyone there in the drive time session, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Lakhi Singh, the property fixer and the alternative business and properties community. Right, we've got waiting in backstage as well. Mandy, I think she's been waiting for a while since we've been trying to fix the technology. Mandy, she's waiting in the back there, as always, like Maria Carey. Morning, Mandy. How are you?
Morning, Lakhi. I'm very good, thank you.
Morning, Mandy. Morning, Mandy.
Morning.
Morning, Mandy. Can you hear us?
Yes, loud and clear. Yep.
Frozen.
No.
Morning. You are frozen, a bit like Madonna. Have you got lots of crows around you, Mandy, this morning? Have you got lots of loud and clear? No. Right. Okay. Right. Lakhi Singh. Good morning. What's the weather like there in the southeast?
It's very dark and drizzly, but always a wonderful day.
Yeah. It's raining here also.
You got some problem with the internet, Mandy?
No.
I can hear Mandy fine. And I can see Mandy fine.
Again. Dial again. Redial, please, because we can't hear you. You're frozen.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
Singh, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
No. Right, okay, Lakhi Singh, what's the weather like there in the City of London this morning?
Yeah, it's dark and drizzly and damp.
Okay, maybe a sign of tier 4. Do you think it's a sign of tier 4, or is it just naturally rainy and drizzly?
I definitely think it's down to tier 4. I think somehow
Tier 4.
not only have they put tier 4 in, they've managed to make it a damp, drizzly, and a dark morning. How did they manage to do that? I don't know.
It's a gloomy day. Okay, that's not nice for lots of people, I'm sure. Probably a bit worrying. Mandy, what's the weather like there in Manchester, please?
It's the same.
In Manchester, in the heart. Is it the same?
Yeah, it is. It's dark and drizzly here
Okay.
also.
And is dark and drizzly. And is it tier 4 in Manchester?
No, it's tier 3 in Manchester.
Tier 3. Okay, big difference. And it's only about 180 miles a difference? 180
no,
miles.
no, it's about 200 miles.
200, right. 200 miles a difference. And there's a whole tier difference. Lakhi Singh, do you think this tier 4 is going to impact the commerce and the general commercial environment there in London and in the country? Do you think it's going to impact on the economy being tier 4 again? And the question is, how is it that the virus has mutated in London and yet it started in Wuhan? Why is it not mutated in Wuhan?
Well, apparently people in Kent, they've got some sort of something that's probably a bit different about them, that there's a mutation that's taken place in Kent, and it's now being spread from there. So it's becoming a bit like an EastEnders plot.
We've got a comment from a Richard Fay. It says, Merry Christmas, everyone, and a special Merry Christmas to sophisticated Lakhi Singh. Obviously, someone knows that you're a bit of a shaker and a mover, a sophisticated groover in the square mile. So they're giving you a sophisticated Merry Christmas. Right. You've not answered the question. Who's that? Yeah, very nice, Lakhi Singh. Could you kindly tell us how come it's mutated in London and it hasn't mutated from where it started from source?
Well, I'm not going to profess to be an expert on the how these things happen, but I would say that this is the information that we get fed from the BBC. How true it is and what the actual details are basically only the experts know, but I haven't had any sort of detailed reports given to me by anybody in particular. So I'll have to take a further look at it, I'm afraid.
Okay. Mandy, you're from a health, but I know you're not a health expert. You've been working in PCTs and in the trust with the NHS. Is that correct, Mandy?
That's correct, yes, DJ.
I'm sure you're rubbing shoulders with a few injections and a few white coats once in a while. Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Is it not something, it doesn't seem to be a bit weird that the virus is mutating in London only, where it's actually apparently started in Wuhan? Why is it not mutated in Wuhan, where it started from the food market, as everyone makes out?
They've got more precautions, and I think in Britain people are actually staying in. and actually it's social distancing, because I know going out just to the supermarket, people just don't stay away from you, and some people just don't wear masks either. So, which is a bit disappointing. But I've also been speaking to a friend in London. I think, I can't remember which part of London he's from, but he was saying a lot of people aren't wearing masks, and they were going into his shop without masks, and he was refusing entry to them, but the customers don't seem to listen, unfortunately.
I mean, okay, but that's not following the rules. I mean, you've got that all the way across the world. I've got reports coming in from different countries across the world where people aren't following the rules and they don't really believe it's true in X, Y, Z. But the point is, why has it mutated? Why in London? Why is London the center of mutation? I know it's the second largest money market, and I know it's the largest metal reserve. Metal market and precious metal market and all the other markets, but why has it become the center point for tier 4, the new mutation of the virus? It sounds a bit like a plot or something, but okay. Lakhi Singh, can you answer that question? You're saying you don't know. Have they explained? You're saying BBC giving sound bites, but we don't actually have explanation to those sound bites. But it has made another ripple on the international community in terms of air travel, because a lot of the larger economies have sort of shut down to London, flights coming in and X, Y, Z. It's a bit despondent. This is a bit, probably a bit, I would say, negative, or puts a cloud on the silver lining of the new year and on Christmas. I mean, Richard Fay says, happy Christmas to you. I don't think you heard it last time. Happy Christmas to you, Lakhi, and a sophisticated happy Christmas to you, because he says that you're probably a very sophisticated young man and you're probably missing your hockey. Is that right, Lakhi? Are you missing your hockey?
Well, I'm missing my sports, yeah, because I think it's important to stay fit and active. Yes, definitely missing my sports. But you can't really do much about it. You just got to get on with it, I suppose. You got to try and find another way of keeping fit.
All right, so we've got Richard Fay obviously saying, flattering you, Mandy. We've got lots of love hearts coming through because of you. Obviously, you're attracting an audience. You have your own following, probably a few stalkers in there. Richard Fay, I think someone says, is it Richard Fay? Richard Fay says, much better looking than Mandana. So you got someone there who obviously is trying to indirectly on the net, trying to woo you, Mandy. But okay,
thank you, Richard.
Yes, you've got a bit of a following there. People got a shine to you. Okay, Mandy, tell us then. What do you say? I mean, people are not following the rules. I think, isn't that human nature? Don't we get used to hearing bad press and then we sort of like treat it as normal then? What is it that people can do to bring down or help in the tier coming down? Because tier 3 isn't actually low, is it? It's quite high.
Yeah, Manchester's been in tier 3 for a long time, but it's like from the start of the virus that we knew about, the first lockdown, people were actually staying in, and obviously because of the festivities that have come and gone, and Christmas is a big one, and people really want to see their family and friends. And with the rules being relaxed a little bit, saying that 3 or 4 households can mix, we're going to see a spike again, unfortunately. But with myself, because I've got health issues, I've had to distance myself, and I'm really conscious of keeping away from people and trying to stay at home most of the time. And plus, I don't think people will believe it until they've actually lost somebody to coronavirus. I've actually lost 4 friends to the virus. And until that happens, I don't think people will actually believe it.
Very sorry for the loss. I mean, to lose 4 people you know very near to you. I mean, it must be like touching and feeling the virus and understanding that it is a reality. I think people sometimes treat the news with a mark of disbelief in terms, because they're so used to seeing nowadays, at least, so much is available on social media. You see horrible pictures of death and destruction, and I think people become desanitized to the reality of it. And I think you only get to feel it when somebody close around you is being succumbed to it. And I totally agree with that. You've got lots of additional love hearts and people are watching us. By the way, the air flights from Scotland to London have been shut down as well. So another very poignant announcement. So, okay, we don't believe it, or we believe it. Richard Fay asked a question regarding MRSA, why it doesn't react to antibiotics. I think the question is, why is it that London happens to now have the center and the control of all virus? Basically, it's somewhat become like the second, the largest virus hub for some reason, and it doesn't make sense because I assume London has been controlled much better than lots of countries around the world where systems and processes are very weak. But is this going to impact the economy, Lakhi? Tier 4, do you think it's going to put a damper on what people think was going to happen in the new year? We're going to have a bounce back, and 2021 was supposed to be good, and then 22 is going to be great or brilliant, as Neuro-Linguistic says. What do you say?
I mean, to be honest, I think there's hardly any difference between tier 3 and tier 4. The major difference is that people can't get together over Christmas because so it just limits the amount of things you can do. So basically, tier 4 has just been put in to alleviate 3 households getting together over the Christmas time, because there's a huge argument, I think, about for the last couple of weeks on Newsnight, where a lot of the newscaster was saying to some of the councils or some of the senior council members of, I think, Nottingham Council, so why are we actually having households getting together if the risk is now increasing? So they couldn't really answer that question without coming up with all sorts of high-level information, which didn't really make any sense, like saying, well, people need to make their own judgment, these sort of things. So you had quite a strong argument there that things are getting worse, but yet you're actually giving more access than normal to households. So the spread is going to increase even more after Christmas. So you're putting people's lives at risk. So I think that's the fundamental reason that they put tier 4 in place. So I think it's doing is actually extending the reach also to I think 2 or 3 other areas of business industry sectors that it wasn't before. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but I can actually bring them all out and read them out in a second. But I think so I think the impact is going to be somewhat not too dissimilar from tier 3 because it just restricts people going out and using shops. But tier 3 is actually enough to actually put a massive dent in the economy and the speed at which there's going to be any sort of recovery.
Okay, so let's revisit the whole thing. What do you think, Mandy, is really the way forward in trying to tackle the way public behaves to news after it becomes old news? Because remember, there's lots of, I mean, I've read on lots of different occasions, the public memory is not more than 7 days old. That's what they say. People don't really remember things which are in the news for more than 7 days. And therefore, the virus, even if it's tier 4, it's not going to frighten anyone. It's not going to mean anything to anybody, especially if they want to get together, they will get together. What do you think is the best way of trying to make this matter for somebody like yourself who's experienced the issue of the COVID, and you know it's a real thing, it's a live thing, it is something out there that can kill, can affect lives. What do you think is the way to get people to keep real, and not in terms of, when I say keep real, not real dumb, but real in their behavior and their actions, to stop the spread of the virus? What do you think could be done?
Obviously keep in touch with friends and family, but try and not limit, I guess, visits to friends and families, and limit going out, and do Zoom meetings or just FaceTime. And I know it's not the same, but we just need to do it for a short period of time to sort of bring the tier levels down again. And I know it's going to be hard over Christmas because we all want to see our loved ones. So it's just being strong in ourselves, I guess, and just keep positive and keep going on. I know it's I don't know, it's very hard because people, like you say, people will do what they want to do at the end of the day. But hopefully they'll actually think about the consequences and try not to spread the virus.
Okay, I think I think there's the natural problem is you can't see the virus. I think that's one of the main problems, isn't it? You can't see something, you can't determine it, you can't you can't really put a risk on it because it's just so unfathomable. You can't, you've got cases of kids that have died because of it, and they're saying that children weren't going to catch the virus. And then you've got situations where, people who are working frontline, who are keeping all the precautions, they have suffered from the virus, and doctors who are medical professionals, people who recognize the virus to be a real thing, even with all of the precautions they take, they have suffered from the virus to the extent that they are feeling it. Lakhi Singh, what do you say then? What's your understanding on how to get to the lowest of the common man to make him realize, look, don't take it as a joke. Don't take it as all, gobbledygook or, made up bits and bobs. Recognize there are people dying around the world, and recognize those people who are dying around the world are dying because of something that is new, that wasn't around. And before you answer that question, we've got Kan Patel, who says that this has been spread by lots of parents and their children. I think they're probably not, there's a section of community, you can't blame parents and children. I think that's one section of community, but he says they spread it. And then he also says that London is going to become second to the US. Bit worrying there. Lakhi, what do you say?
Well, I think everybody's got to take a personal responsibility to ensure they apply the guidelines the best they can. And I think for some people, may not be that easy. For they may have health reasons, they may have they need to get out, or whatever it is. Or some people just maybe finding it difficult to probably they don't really want to. They're in denial. They don't want to accept what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's easy. I mean, there are a couple of solutions out there. I think a lot of schools are actually being done online now. Even I think my son's university now is going to be online, I think, from now. until things change or the vaccinations kick in. So whilst it is going to be quite a turmoil or difficult, obviously going to university with no other students to be hanging out with is not going to be easy for a lot of students. But at the same time, better safe than sorry, I suppose, is probably the best message. Some people have come up with some interesting solutions. So some friends I know they're going to celebrate their Christmas in June. So they're having their Christmas lunch in around June time. They think by that time everything should be cleared up. So it's not all doom and gloom. Christmas can be moved. Diwali can be moved. I mean, there's lots of festivals that can't really be moved because people do feel personally inclined on that particular day. Things have to happen. But if there's a will, there's a way.
Excellent solution there, Lakhi. I don't think if anyone's ever thought of it doing it that way, to move Christmas on and move the New Year on. Why not? If I mean, at the end of the day, if there's lockdown, let's let the lockdown bypass and let's have the party then. That's not a bad solution. Looking at Lakhi, the fixer, maybe we need to get this information across to the powers to be to make them realize, well, hang on, let's not do Christmas on the 25th this year. Let's do it on the 5th of February or even 26th of March, maybe. I don't know. Whenever we know that the virus has subsided and people can be out and they can be celebrating. Okay. We recognize that Tier 4 is now has become very, 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 dangerous in some respects, because there must be some reason that the government has got the Tier 4 out. It can't just be about lockdown, and it can't just be about keeping people indoors during the festive season. There's got to be some fact behind this change. Before I go over to Mandy and ask her what she says, I've got a big shout out. We've got John Smith, we've got Zishan, we've got Amar Ali, and we have Nothing as well, all giving a shout out and a hi. They've joined us. Big love hearts. Man, you are attracting lots of interest.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, so I'm a bit worried about what you're doing on the internet, especially with everyone being on lockdown. You will be creating a bit of a stir. And if I had the authority, I would smack you on your hands, tell you not to be a naughty girl, but I can't, as you're a mature woman. But anyhow, you're bringing life to the drive time, which is great. Okay, Mandy, tell me, if there was an option to move everything forward, is that not a good solution? Is it not best for us to hold up all the celebration, because we can't celebrate, and sort of like quickly rushing in that 1 week we've got before the next tier and just do everything we want to do, then run back and then go back into lockdown? Isn't that a good idea?
Yeah, no, well, with my birthday and a lot of my friends that have had their birthdays since March, we're actually putting it off until the end of this virus. So, yeah, we will be having different meetups and having dinners and just going out.
Just do back in 1 week, like what's that program, the one about the the one which they have their guests over, then they have dining, and then they all
come dine with me.
Come have your celebration with me in 1 week, and all of you basically, someone does lunch, someone does breakfast, someone does dinner, and you just do it back to back across the whole week. And then I
know, but I can understand it's not the same, because it was quite depressing on my birthday, for instance.
Was it?
Yeah. And then my friend just had her 70th birthday, and that's a big one. And it's a shame we couldn't celebrate it for her. And she wanted to have a party, she couldn't have a party. And it's not the same. If it's a big one, definitely I can understand the frustration that people are having. So yeah,
So the idea that Lakhi's presented, moving forward everything to a date that you have got that opportunity, like you got the weekend and it goes to tier 2, everyone just rushes in that weekend and celebrates all the celebrations they want to do and then go back to lockdown. Isn't that one way of doing it?
No. That's gonna actually raise the numbers even more. It'll have a peak. Yeah. So
I like that. Clever thinking. Right. Okay.
No, I think there's a twist to that question. What you could do is just invite people that have been vaccinated. Then basically, then you then basically you only have, out of 100 friends, maybe one can turn up.
Right. Okay. Right. The saying of this week is one which is possibly it's got dual meanings to it, because it says, what's the difference between extraordinary and ordinary? And the saying is, what is that little extra that you put in? What is the difference between that extraordinary effort we want to put in while the virus tierings are so high? Is it not that extra little effort that may save millions of lives? Lakhi Singh, what do you say? Should everybody now, for this purpose, just be putting that extra effort in? I know lots of people have been working really hard the whole year. They've had to change their style of working, had to go indoors and they're working remotely, working from home, being frustrated, locked in, and they're probably looking forward to the end of the year and say, right, we'll let our hairs down, or if someone doesn't have any hair, they could shine their bald head down for that one Christmas party and that one New Year's party. But all of a sudden, it's become lockdown, tier 4. So what do you say? Is it not that extra effort that we're going to put in across the Christmas and the New Year that will determine the difference between saving a few lives and saving maybe thousands, if not millions of lives? What do you say?
There's a combination of issues there. First is, I think we all need to do our part, and being, whether you're ordinary or extraordinary, you need to be extraordinary anyway. That's no doubt. There's no doubt on being extraordinary. You have to be extraordinary. You have to be extra cautious. So that goes without saying, but I think it's an important point. You have to be extraordinary is the default position, I think, should be for everybody. So it's going to be difficult for the virus to spread. But the other points are a bit more strategic, which go back to the heart of government, which is, so this is actually quite there's lots of strategic issues and there's lots of learnings that we can have from a lot of international understanding of where the virus has already been diminished down to 0. For example, in New Zealand, there's 0 cases now for the last couple of months. So I think as an individual, there's so much we can do, but the powers that be are in the hands of the government. And the question is, what is it that these other countries have done that we're not doing?
Okay. Well, we've got 2 comments that have come through. Richard Fay obviously says, are you cooking for him over this week? I think over the Christmas. Richard Fay obviously thinks that you're a good cook, and he obviously feels that you're attuned to cooking, especially cooking for him. Are you going to be cooking for him over the Christmas holiday, Lakhi?
I'm happy to cook for him, but I may end up eating it because of COVID-19. Yeah.
Clever answer. Right. Okay. And second to you, Mandy, what are you going to be then sort of like, how are you going to be changing your routine to show extraordinary caution? I mean, ordinary caution is what Lakhi says, it can't be done now. Everyone has to be extraordinary. So I can see you going to the local Tesco and asking them, I am being extraordinarily safe. Can you put some extra meat in my basket for me as well? As long as he doesn't make you pay for it. Yes.
No, I'm going to be doing chats over Zoom or FaceTime, I think, over Christmas and New Year. I won't be going out, and I tend to go out shopping early hours, so there's not a lot of people around, because shops are getting busier for the family and friends, which is understandable, and they want to decorate their homes over the Christmas period, which is again understandable again, because it is a festive period, and I can understand, and it does affect a lot of people. Like, it affected me over Diwali, and it must have affected the Eid for people that were celebrating Eid as well, and there's other obviously celebrations that people have missed as well. So it is hard. We just have to persevere and stay strong and let the numbers come down again. And
Okay, this goes back to government, doesn't it? And the numbers are the numbers. Where are the numbers coming from? Who sees the numbers? Okay. Question. Capital says a developer has offered to buy his property by 70% discount. So what do you say to that, Lakhi Singh? Can that happen? Richard Ray says he basically is just saying a good shout out to all the team, everyone, for keeping him entertained, keeping him feeling at least he's got people listening to him and taking his comments seriously. I think that's probably why he's finding the love here. Right, Lakhi Singh? And he appreciates all the work that we're doing. That's what Richard has said. Thank you very much, Richard, for your comments. Much appreciated for you making that comment. I think this goes back to feeling appreciated. So, Lakhi Singh, going back to what Mandy just says, the numbers. Where are the numbers coming from?
I think the numbers are, to be honest, I don't know, because I'm not really a statistician or an expert, but my bad guess is that where you've got high concentrations of people that are together, they're saying that a lot of, there's a huge spread from children in schools now and from parents. This is what Cam just saying. So the question is, that trying to tackle that issue is very, very controversial, because children need their education and they need to go to school ideally. But should they all be at home whilst the virus or the vaccines are taking place? Should we have a lockdown for 6 months, everybody gets vaccinated, then kids go back to school again? So I think those are very big questions. And I think you're going to get, whatever you say, you're going to get shot down from either one party or the other. So it's a difficult one. I think you want your children to be educated, and if this is quite a critical year for them in their careers, and they better come up to their GCSEs, imagine having a huge negative impact because they're not going to be able to interact or have that maybe able to get that understanding to get the results they need. So where do you draw the line?
We've got about 315 subscribers now on the YouTube watching us. Excelente. Lots more love hearts going out to Mandy. Mandy, are you sure you haven't got some other channel going on that people watch you there and come over here to see you again live? Too many people sending love hearts this morning, and all for you.
Oh, bless them.
Right, okay. Right. Well,
thank you, everyone.
everyone wants to share the love this morning, which is excellent. Monday morning is really nice to see everyone up and I think there's been a big shock to the system, really, over the weekend. All of a sudden, this declaration that there's this new mutation of the virus that's even more aggressive than the first virus. I want to ask you, Mandy. Somebody suggests, I think it was probably one of our listeners suggests, taking New Year and taking Christmas over for Easter and putting together, just sort of thinking that Jesus, the son of Mary, was born on the 25th, but he actually was born a day before Christmas, Easter, and then he died on Easter. That's what they're saying.
Right.
Is that possible to do Christmas and Easter at the same time?
Yeah,
Celebrate his or grieve his death in the evening. Could that be possible?
it is possible, but it depends on how strongly they feel that they need to do it at Christmas, and if they're willing to wait until Easter to do it as well, or they could do both. But it's just keeping that risk factor down again, keeping that in mind.
How many days? I mean, look, it's only been about 8 months, I think, since the real issue of the virus has sort of hit us. 8 months. The whole world has changed its perception about travel, about business, about commerce, about banking, about exchange of relationships, etc. Everything has just totally been turned upside down. Lakhi Singh, did you ever and could you ever have foreseen this? Did you know there was going to be a major turnaround? You're sitting in the city.
I think our organization companies been speculating that there would be a financial meltdown probably in March of this year, 2020. But we weren't necessarily predicting a health meltdown. But obviously, the health meltdown is actually a massive impact on the financial markets. So I don't see a lot of things sort of ending well for a lot of industry sectors in business and property. So I think they're the ones that are going to suffer the most, because you can't really have like a business running for about 2 weeks and then being shut down again, and then start again, then shut down again, and start again, then shut down again, then start again, shut down. We thought we could go on and on and on. So it's more or less impossible to be able to do that unless you're a large corporation, a conglomerate. So all the teeny weeny small local village shops, all these sort of places that rely on a weekly or a monthly sort of cash input from their customers, I mean, a lot of them are already been wiped out. So now it consistently happening with even more. I mean, all the shops now, most of the shops on the high street are going to be closed this week. It's only essential shops. So it's going to have a massive dent on individuals that are employed, but also going to have a massive dent on individuals that need to use those facilities as well. So, you know, it's, I was never really expecting things to be, you know, coming to their knees from a health point of view anyway. So I think one of the saddest things about the whole thing is how many people have passed in the last, 7-8 months or so. So that's very sad, actually. So my heart goes out to anybody that's either suffering now, because I know a few friends of mine that are actually got COVID-19, and quite a few others that have had family members pass away. So we should actually do I think 1 minute silence for them, I think, just as a way of respect. That's maybe today, but let VJ Sal decide.
I think we'll do it on if our show is live on the 1st of January. What date does that make, Lakhi Singh? Can you check quickly and find out what date does the 1st of January make?
That will be, look, 1 second.
That's a Friday.
That's it. The day we have Ninder Singh on, we will do a minute pure silence with the intention of thinking about those people who've passed away specifically in this year, and obviously anybody who passes away, and it doesn't always have to be covert. Any soul that leaves this world is sad, but I think in particular we will make it a part of the 1st of January. We'll do a session on the 1st of January. Are we going to be live on the, we'll check up from the team, I'm not sure, but if we are on the 1st of Jan on the air on the 1st, we will do that, because I think a lot of people will be looking for real live news, and I think it's important for us to stay away and stay in focus for the people who are listening to our show, so they can get to an understanding of a perspective across the country, live information. I think that's the beauty of social media and the live platform, is people that we are talking to. What we'll attempt to do is we will attempt to get people in from Scotland, and each sector, we've got about 8 different sectors. We'll try and get in one person from each sector to tell us what's happening in their neck of the woods, and see what's happened after the New Year's when we do the 1 minute silence. So we'll try and plan something special for that day, so everybody can get a quick feedback as to what's happening. It's a bit, it seems, I mean, to me, it seems like an ongoing movie. I'm expecting to hear some real big bang story when I get up in the morning. Isn't that the way it feels to you, Mandy? That you're expecting when you wake up in the morning, some real big bang story to hit the news to tell us, well, that's it. That's what's happened now. What do you think?
I don't make it as a rule to listen to the news at the moment.
That's right.
Yeah, so I will do my research during the day at some point to see what's going on, if a friend hasn't already rung and told me what to expect. So, yeah.
So you won't necessarily listen to the news. I think there is another way of listening to the news, Mandy. There is another way. And the way I've worked it out is you listen to the BBC, then you listen to something like RT, which is Russian television, I think. You're going to listen to them, and then you draw a line in the middle somewhere, and that'll probably be somewhere around where the truth will be. What do you reckon?
Not too sure about that. I've listened to LBC now and then, so I like the debates on there. So
yeah, it's sort of like hard, sort of like raw type of discussions with people shouting, "Oh, I don't like you" on the phone, and people respond. That's a bit more raw, isn't it? That's why it sounds like. But I think they do pull out genuine, important topics of the day or topics of the week. Boris Johnson, had a pass of wind during his lunch, and people started commenting, MPs shouldn't fart during their food, and then it becomes like a topic for the whole week. So, what do you say? What's another way of trying to find out? Because to me, it seems like this is an ongoing movie of madness and of uncertainty going on, and it seems like all of a sudden the 1st of January we're going to wake up and we're going to have something like The Day After Tomorrow, the movie, the day the world froze over and all that. What do you think? Isn't that the image and the impression that everyone's trying to give in the news and in the media?
Yeah, I think the media is a devil's sort of playground, I'd say. So I think we just got to be very careful not to let things in. which are not maybe honest reporting. So that's one. And the second thing I'd say is that very important day today, 21st of December. Apparently there's a huge planetary shift today. So today is the day of actually raising consciousness. And so if anybody's actually watching today, today is probably a good day to take a day off altogether and be going for a walk in the forest, in the park, and really taking a break from all of it, because you get so much bombardment from the media, from what's happening around you. I think it's a time for self-reflection and raising your consciousness. Being in your prayers, and also really elevating yourself to sort of having more of a connection with yourself. I think I'd say that's actually very important. That's why we call the Alternative Property Business Solutions community.
Excellent. I think another way of looking at everything, yes, it sounds, I think for those people who haven't ever done that, they've been so engrossed in the life they have in the city, in the 9 to 5, in their job, going to work, coming home, going to shop, doing the same things every day. A bit like Deborah, I think they need to just let go of everything, fly over to the Amazon forest. If they can't go to the Amazon forest, at least go to the local duck pond and just think about nature. Have you ever done that, Mandy? Have you ever literally gone out, not into the Amazon, I assume, but to the local duck pond and just sat there and reflected about life, found the serenity of nature? Have you done that?
No, I haven't. I do that from home.
No, you need to try that one day.
I won't go out.
What about just leaving everything and just going out to the local park then and sitting there and reflecting in nature? Would you not do that?
I would love to do that. I would love to do that, but this I'm afraid of going out at the minute because there's still too many people out there. So but I would love to go out and do that. I miss nature.
Yes, I think nature misses you, and we're all missing you. And I think you should go out. And I think I would say what Lakhi says is very important. I think just if people feel, oh, they need to go into some great, wilderness, into some, great forest where there's no people and there's literally just the wild fruit to survive off, that's not required. Even just going to the local park, just walking around a local park, taking time out to sit on the grass possibly, that adds a total different perspective to your day. It brings an element of serenity to you, and it doesn't make a difference if that park is literally underneath a major motorway. It won't make a difference whatsoever because you are sitting in nature and somehow you are connecting to the reality of your own being, your existence, and that is you are but a tree with 2 legs on. Is that not right, Lakhi? Are you not just a tree with 2 legs?
I suppose we are somewhat, trees also have consciousness apparently, so they've got an aura. So I understand the half joke there. Good attempt. Give you about 5 out of 10 for a change. Room for improvement.
Yes. Are you not but a organ with 2 legs? Should you not connect? Like you said, going out, connecting with nature, being at your higher level, you're connecting to yourself. Most people would think you need to be some guru or some, soothsayer or some, evangelist or, some spiritual teacher to be able to get to that level. Is that possible? Can you do that, Lakhi? You're a hardcore city slicker, mover, shaker, a man who, counts, looks at hard money as the tool for recognition. Can you do that? Do you do that? Can you levitate? Can you find the universe within yourself?
To be honest, I think the only way is to be at a sort of higher level of consciousness if you want to be living a happier life, let's say. I mean, money comes and goes. It's there. It's something that has a good energy. You can help people with it. You can do a lot with it. So my ambition actually is to make a lot of money, but money is not my first love. I think God is my first love. And I think being in a sort of, let's just say, in good stead all the time, or being positive, or you could call it good energy. In Punjabi they say chardi kala, which is you're staying in good spirits. I think actually maintaining that and being that is probably the challenge. So if you can retain that no matter what, then I think you you can do so much good, because when you're living in a high level of consciousness, you can.
Do you have a spiritual? Are you from a Sikh belief? Do you keep your spirit rack full of quality spirits? Are you looking at having high quality spirits in your racks?
Yes, definitely. I am of a Sikh faith.
Excellent.
So no, I try and keep positive, and just like like you mentioned, listening to the news. Nobody should do that first thing in the morning or pick up their phone. They should just concentrate on themselves, wake up, do exercise or meditation, and then start the day from there.
Okay. I think maybe we've got our priorities wrong, and maybe this is a time for people to start looking at the way they start their day, the priorities. I mean, I know a lot of people who literally rush out of bed and they don't even get themselves ready, don't even have breakfast properly, because their issue is getting to work, and work happens to have some psychological hold on us that other things don't, which are more important, things which relate to our own mental, physical well-being. We don't take them with the same respect we do of going to the office. We jump out of bed and run to work without having brushed our teeth even sometimes. I'm not saying I don't brush my teeth. About that group of hardworking individuals who've got hardly any time to brush their teeth, who go to work, but yet they haven't even decided to take that extra few minutes out for themselves. Isn't this the time to start changing the routine, Lakhi? Isn't this now that excellent time to start thinking about doing those things which are about internal, not external?
I mean, a lot of people are at a loose end. They've got time on their hands. They've probably been furloughed, or because of the category of the work they're doing, they can't get out. I mean, they can't get interviews. So they've got ample time on their hands for self-reflection. So I think this is a fantastic time for people to maybe realign themselves. So realign their 7 chakras, get them vibrating at a higher level, do their meditation, do their exercise, eat better, reflect on really what's been going on around them, because maybe they've just been living life's taken control of them. They haven't taken control of their lives. So I think it's very important to have that reflection time. So even though everybody's been thrown into it, if you're thrown into the process of actually self-reflection, then I think it can only be good, because it's very rare that we would have this amount of time in our lifetimes even for self-reflection. So can you imagine the wonders you could do? You could probably learn to put your leg around your neck and learn to levitate. You could do lots of things.
Put your leg around your neck. Obviously, now we've run out of time, so we'll hear lots of thumping of people falling over, trying to stick their legs over their necks. It's not going to happen in one day. It takes time and effort and practice. So a warning to everyone who's trying to put their leg around their necks, falling over. Don't try to do it all of a sudden. It takes time, effort, and practice. So with that, we have to say goodbye to this morning's drive time session with Lakhi Singh, 8 a.m., 9 a.m. every morning with the alternative business, property, and solutions community. Mandy, my love, as usual, you've brought a lot of light to us this morning, a lot of love hearts following you around. Thank you so much for your time. You're
you're welcome.
Breath of fresh air every morning. So do try to join us. I think on the New Year's or on Christmas time, we'll try and do something special to get maybe more people on. We'll do a 2-hour slot or something to get everybody to come in and go out and give everybody their special New Year wish to everybody. Although some people probably do it in advance, but we will try something on that day especially, so everyone gets a chance to come in and wish everyone a happy New Year. Thank you so much, Mandy, for your time.
Thank you.
Take care.